Welcome to Educational Technique channels. This is the first topic of the second year students of the plus two, and that is the poem Daffodils. I am Rajiv Lushnocha, the teacher of English. Now we are going to discuss Daffodils. Daffodils is the first poem of the plus two second year students. Daffodils is the written by or composed by or described by or narrated by the William Wordsworth, who was born on 1770 and died on 1850. He was honored as a England's poet laureate or literature. According to the poet, poetry is nothing but it is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings arising from emotions recollected in tranquility. Here, the poet William Wordsworth glorifies, clarifies, and modifies the beauty of the nature and the bliss of the solitude when he wandered lonely at the nearby the vales and hills. Now we are going to start the topic named the daffodils. Before going to start the daffodils, we have to know what do you mean by the daffodils or what is the daffodil. The daffodil is the yellow colored, golden yellow colored bell shaped flower which has a very sweet fragrance. Now we are going to read loudly the first and second stanza of the daffodils. First stanza. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over the vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in breeze. Second stanza. The continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Before going through the first and second stanza, we have to understand the meaning of the some difficult words. Please write down some difficult words related to the first and second stanza to better comprehend the topic. Wandered means move, vale means valley, a host of means a large number of, fluttering, moving to and from motion, breeze, cold wind, twinkle, dim light, Milky Way, galaxy, means galaxy means we can understand the topic. Galaxy means the broad and luminous band of the stars encircling the sky. That is the named as also the gallery. Margin, border, sprightly. Sprightly means lively. Twinkle dim light, Milky Way galaxy, Behla Lake. Thus now we are going to discuss about the topic vividly. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on the high over vales and hills. Here I refers to whom? I refers to the poet William Wordsworth. While the William Wordsworth was wandering lonely nearby the valleys and hills at that time, he compared himself with cloud because as cloud floats over the on high over the vales and hills on the sky, in the same way the poet also wanders nearby the valleys and hills. Why does the poet compare the cloud with himself? If you ask that question, what will be your answer? Your answer is as a cloud floats on high over the vales and the hills, in the same way the poet was wandering nearby the foot of the valleys and hills. So that's why the poet compared himself with a cloud. Here, the poet wandered lonely nearby the valleys and hills as a cloud. So when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. When all at once I saw a crowd means when the poet saw the hills and daffodils at that time, he saw that a crowd or a host of golden daffodils means at once when the poet wandered lonely as a cloud nearby the valleys and hills, at that time he saw that a host of or a number of so many number of a plenty of golden yellow colored daffodils. When the poet wandered lonely, at that time he noticed or saw so many number of golden daffodils. This is the way. If I ask the question, what did the poet see? Now the poet saw a large number of daffodils or golden daffodils beside the lake beneath and it is. Beside the lake beneath and it is means the golden daffodils are standing, are dancing at beside the lake and beneath the trees. Where did the daffodils stand? Now the daffodils are situated beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. What are the daffodils doing? Now the daffodils are fluttering and dancing in the breeze or in the cold wind. So what is the main gist or central idea of the first stanza? And when the poet wandered lonely nearby the valleys and hills, at that time he compared himself with a cloud, because as a cloud floats on high over the valleys and hills, in the same way the poet wandered lonely nearby the valleys and hills. When the poet was wandering at that time, he saw a large number of golden yellow colored daffodils which are situated beside the lake and beneath the trees. And these daffodils are fluttering and moving to and from motion and dancing in the breeze. Next, second stanza. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in the sprightly dance. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. On the Milky Way or on the sky or on the galaxy, the so many number of stars are shining, are twinkling continuously, endlessly. At the same way, the daffodils are also glittering nearby the valleys and hills or margin of the bay. The poet here described that as stars are shining and twinkling on the Milky Way continuously, as the same way the daffodils also are dancing or glittering nearby the valleys and hills. They stretch. What does they refer to here? Now they refer to the daffodils. The daffodils stretched in a never-ending line, or daffodils stretched in a never-ending line along the margin of a bay. Along the margin of a bay in a line in the border area of the lake. The poet noticed that the so many number of daffodils are stretched in a never-ending line along the margin of a bay, as the stars are situated, are shining and twinkling on the Milky Way in a never-ending line. Here the poet compares the stars with the daffodils. How does the poet compare the star with daffodils? Now the stars are shining and twinkling on the Milky Way. In the same way, the daffodils are stretched, or daffodils are dancing or twinkling or shining at the margin of a bay. The 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in the sprightly dance. At a glance, the poet saw 10,000 number of daffodils, and which are tossing their heads in a lively dance. When the wind blows, the daffodils are dancing sprightly and tossing their heads. At that time, at a glance, the poet, I refers to here, show that the 10,000 number of daffodils are tossing their heads and busy with dancing. So this is the second stanza, and the centralize of the second stanza here, the poet compares the stars with the daffodils. As the stars are shining and twinkling on the Milky Way, the daffodils are also shining or glittering or stretched in a never-ending line along the margin of the bay. And the 10,000 of numbers of the daffodils the poet saw at a glance, and they are dancing and tossing their heads in sprightly manner. So this is the first and second stanza. So now we are going to discuss the third and fourth stanza in the next video. After completing the third and fourth stanza of that poem, I will arrange some questions, some comprehensive question or formative questions, and put in front of you so that you can understand better and you will try your best to give that answers. Please subscribe my channel and share this video to your friends, and encourage me to create such type of video for your better comprehension and securing good mark in the first level. Thank you. God bless.